Teabaggers! It's our birthday! Welcome back to the Terror Table for episode 133. This is our
Is it 133?
Yeah.
Oh,
third year anniversary.
We didn't even plan that. That's like typical our fashion, is that it just ended up working.
I know. My name is Mitch, and alongside me, I'm one of your regular hosts. And alongside me, as always, I got my buddy.
I'm busy.
And we are the Terror Table. We're a podcast that talks about horror movies every single week. We usually talk about what we've been seeing, what we've been doing, then we talk about some horror news, and then we follow everything off with an in-depth discussion on a movie of our choice. But this week we won't be doing that. We will still talk about what we've been seeing and everything like that. We'll probably leave that for last. But instead we're going to just use this time to, reflect.
Like old people do.
Yes, it's going to be a laid-back episode of the Terror Table, but we got a lot, we've announced, the thing is, we wanted to announce all this stuff before we posted it all online, but it's hard to get behind mics. This is the busiest time of the year for people who are involved with horror stuff, let alone we're just busy in our personal lives as well.
It's like spooky Christmas.
It is.
But we've been kind of MIA.
Yeah, no, it's been tough to keep up lately, but that's not because we don't want to be here. It's because we've been very busy. But we are working on it. It sucks, I guess I should say right away. There's not going to be an episode next week. I realize it's Halloween. It's spooky season. But Buzi's going to Toronto. Toronto? Hot up in the 6th, boy.
I'm going up to the 6th.
Are you going to go see Drake?
Do you think he even goes to Toronto, or he just talks about it? Yeah,
I'm pretty sure he's one of those guys that just talks about it.
He just lives in Dubai now?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people like that. Who's the other fucking person? There's someone who's always talking about how Canadian they are, but they're always just in LA.
Yeah. Like
Jim Carrey type shit.
Twitter fingers turn to trigger fingers.
You getting body blast? I'm not going there.
That's all we got for that one.
But no, either way, Buzi's going to Toronto. And we got so much exciting stuff coming. So we're going to announce all that. We've already announced that if you follow us on social medias, you can, if you don't already, you can check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. It just
felt like it just flooded out.
It had to have, because otherwise, what are we going to wait and just be like, nah, we're not doing any of this?
Yeah.
Other people are doing this cool shit, but we got nothing to do with it.
We're not doing anything.
No, but what we are doing is we are a podcast who is who is presented by the Saskatchewan Podcast. Did I already say this?
No.
Okay.
You probably, yeah.
I'm rusty. We're presented by the Saskatchewan Podcast Network, who is currently sponsored by Connexus Credit Union. So you can check us. All of our stuff can be found on SaskatchewanPodcastNetwork.ca. You can also find a whole bunch of other really cool shows on there, lots of really awesome local stuff. We're really proud to be a part of that network. It seems to be growing every day. I believe our friends Darcy and Jen of 3,000 Movies to Die Before You Watch are on there as well. So congratulations to them. Welcome to the team.
Also the Story of You.
Story of You, yeah. What the Story of You has been, we're alumni.
OGs?
Yeah, OGs. We're OGs. That's what Darcy and Jen are just, they're like the venereal disease we picked up on the way.
They're the mumble rap to our old school.
Yeah. They're the new
kids on the block.
They're new wave. But yeah, welcome aboard, homies. But yeah, so we got lots to talk about. So how should we do this? So last time you guys heard us, we had John Ellison and Jeff Drake of the Saskatoon Fantastic Film Festival on the show.
Would you call those they're technically we're coworkers?
No, we're partners. We're swingers. We're sexual partners.
Lovers.
Mainly, it's all John doing everything to us, which is weird, but. I don't know. We're partners. We're all working together. But yeah, like John announced last time that we weren't prepared for. We're working on a horror convention together. So
I forgot. He just I didn't know. It was we're going to talk about that. Yeah. Usually we're really bad at keeping things under wraps, but it seemed like it was his turn to be It
really was. And that's why John caught us so off guard that we didn't even mention that the other people helping us with that as well as we have a previous guest of the show and friend of the show, Gabrielle Rose from the Dead on Instagram. She's the creator, owner of The Dark Market, YXE.
Which is coming up next weekend, I believe.
Yes, so I'm going to mention that again right away, but I also just mentioned Darcy Meredith, who from 3,000 Movies to Die Before You Watch. He's also helping us out. Mike Fisher, previous guest of the show multiple times. Yeah. He's also one of the head guys of the Saskatoon Entertainment Expo. So he's the one who brought Robert Englund here and all those, Lance Henriksen, Carrie Fisher, Tyler Mane, all the cool shit. He's a part of this. Tara and Courtney from Book Club are both involved. And so that with all that being said, like John had said before, John has resurrected the Dark Bridges title. So I think we mentioned last episode that originally Saskatoon Fantastic Film Festival was called Dark Bridges for many, many years, and that was John strayed away from that because he wanted to program and let people know that they're showing more things than just horror movies, which is totally understandable. But John is a true horror fan, and he was itching for it to come back as well, and he missed it.
I think he just needed a really good reason for it to happen again, and I think like all
we made him horny.
Yeah, I think all the right things aligned so far.
Yeah, I think our bromance has definitely helped. I don't want to say it's helped him because I don't know if it has, but it's helped us. I don't know, it's made us really excited to work with him, and he's become a good friend and everything. We love being friends with John. He's just a great dude. So we're going to be working on that with him. So something that we announced after, I don't even know, man. Everything's getting so mixed up here. Let's just talk about it. I don't know if we announced on the last episode. We're also going to be taking part in some screenings that are separate from the film festival. They'll be under the title Dark Bridges and the Terror Table. And this year, for our first screenings, we have John Carpenter's Halloween on October 24th, which is awesome. That's going to be Thursday, October 24th at the Broadway Theater.
Not going to lie, we were both really pulling for that one.
Yes, that was a big... That's the main one you and I were pulling for.
Yeah.
John and Scott, Scott from the Broadway Theater made it happen.
Well, we were pulling for two, and one we're still waiting to hear about, so that one might be coming up in the future. But we did lock down Halloween.
Yeah, and then we got a massive bonus. Massive bonus. I didn't even know this was a possibility. So October 24th is going to be Halloween. The following night, we're going to be showing, for the very first time, in Saskatoon at least, it'll be the first time you can see the 4K restoration of The Evil Dead. Yeah. Sam Raimi's Evil Dead. So I'm incredibly excited for that. Those are two of my favorite horror movies of all time. So I couldn't be more excited for this. It's the coolest way for us to start this off. Obviously, we plan on doing this every few months at least. This is going to be a thing. If it just depends how the turnout is. If people want to come and see movies that they've already seen, or if they're willing to take a chance on bringing some people who maybe haven't been exposed to this stuff and they might have a good time and want to come do it again. That's why we're leading off with movies that are more well known and well accepted. We're not going to bring people in and make them watch Antichrist right away or something like that,
That'll come. Yeah. But as far as I know, I'm pretty sure we got the word the other day. Tickets are $10 a piece, but if you buy for both nights as a package, it's $15.
Yes, and I guess you can buy pre-sale tickets, but you just go right to the Broadway Theater to do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can choose to buy for both nights for $15 or single nights $10 each. Hope to see everyone there. It's going to be super fun. I'm not sure what we plan on doing for it, because we're obviously not going to do a live podcast.
No.
But I'm pretty sure Buzi and I will be doing something fun. Yeah. Whether it be
we won't just be sitting there. We'll do something either before or after.
Yeah, so. And I have heard that one of the characters from one of the movies might make an appearance.
I also heard that.
So we'll see. We'll be talking about that not next week, but the week after as well, probably, since we won't be here next week. Mm-hmm. More insanely exciting and incredible news. We are going to Hex.
Yeah, we're out of nowhere. We're going to Hex.
Terror Table's going to Hex with Dark Bridges and the Saskatoon Fantastic Film Festival crew. Everyone that we just mentioned, we're all going to Hex together.
If you don't know what Hex is, it's the Halloween Entertainment Expo. And it's X, the cool 90s way.
So it's created by Dan, who does the
Dan Doherty, I believe.
Yeah, who does the Calgary Horror Con, which for anyone who knows is probably the biggest horror convention in Canada. Calgary Horror Con is fucking huge. I can only speak for myself here, but I think you're on the same page. That I've wanted to go forever, but it's not exactly a cheap trip.
Yeah, it's not. It's something that's always been on my mind. But yeah, it's something that financially I would need to you have to wrangle people together. If I was just go by myself, it would be so expensive.
It's because you don't go to those things. It's like going for shopping.
Yeah.
But we're going on business.
We're going there to take care of
business. Are you going there for business or pleasure? A little bit of both. That's what we're doing. So we're going to be in Calgary. So if any of you motherfuckers are from Calgary and we haven't met you before,
or please, if you're traveling there, let us know. And
or if you're going to be there at the same time, we'll all be there.
But I mean,
uncut and everything.
There's going to be a ton of guests there. I believe Robert England's going to be there.
Nick Castle.
Nick Castle, D. Wallace,
Henry Thomas.
Which one's
Henry Thomas, the kid from fucking E.T.
No. Okay, sorry. I was trying to think of someone from Game of Thrones was going to be there, but
she's not there anymore.
Yeah, they just canceled. Anyway, who gives a fuck? That's fucking amazing.
Yeah, no, there's some amazing guests. Ted Raimi, Meatloaf.
Yeah,
Meatloaf. Meatloaf is it. Like, regardless if you like Meatloaf or not, that's gonna be fucking so cool seeing Meatloaf.
I kind of just want to I don't want to meet him. I just want to walk by and be like, yeah, Meatloaf.
I want to just start singing his part from Tenacious D in The Pick of Destiny. I love his part.
I'm sure he would fucking hate it.
Yeah, I'm surprised he does this kind of stuff.
I am too.
But
I guess he's not. Is he toured? Is he touring?
And man, Ari Lehman, the original Jason, the mutant kid, who he now looks like Hook from Hook. That's who he looks like. Dustin Hoffman, sorry, that's who he looks like.
But yeah, we're going there not only as guests, we're kind of going there for business as well, which is super exciting.
Yeah, so that is why we are sadly going to miss the Dark Market.
Yes.
So the Dark Market is on October 12th in Saskatoon at the Capitol. Admission is $2. If we could be there, we would be. We were both there last year. Or you weren't there.
I sent Gabby such a long message about I'm so sorry that both years I missed it.
And Diego and I went last year, and it was fucking awesome. And it's
only going to be bigger.
It's going to be better this year. Yeah, I know. It sucks, but I'm sure Gabrielle understands because she's also a part. I'm sure she would have loved to come to Hex with us as well, but she has this prior engagement. But we're wishing her nothing but the best, and we know that Saskatoon's going to show up for her. So I hope to see tons of pictures, and I know that I'm probably going to end up buying a bunch of stuff from Gabrielle anyways. Mm-hmm. But if you're in the Saskatoon area and if you're going to be around, make sure you go to the Dark Market. It's $2 admission, and you're going to see the coolest art you can in the city. So that's some really exciting stuff. Spooky season is tight this year, hey?
So tight.
It's fucking... I'm in it this year. Last year I wasn't in it.
Well, God, what else do we haven't even talked about the Fantastic Film Fest. Haven't mentioned about that.
We talked about that all last episode.
We should still mention it again. There's fucking
fuck Joe Dante.
Fucking Joe Dante's gonna be here.
Not even that big of a deal,
Saskatoon Fantastic Film Festival, 19th to the 24th at the Broadway Theater.
November, yeah.
Yeah, November, sorry. And Joe Dante's gonna be there, and Belinda Blasky's gonna be there.
Yes.
This is insane.
I know. This is okay. I've been debating if I want to bring this up or not, but I'm going to do it because fuck it. Yeah, should I not? Or you have no idea where I'm going.
No, I don't, and I'm terrified.
Okay, so this has been one of the worst years of my life, and it's turning into one of the best.
Have you said that last year, though? Did you say that last year, too?
Honestly, man, I've been in a horrible place for a long time.
Jesus.
Yeah.
We're getting real serious all of a sudden.
No, but for real... and this, I guess, can transition into something else, but I've been in a fucking really, really, really bad place. And especially this year, it's been extremely hard, and it's been one of the worst years I've had in a while. And it's completely turned around. And it's there is so much to look forward to. I want to give a quick shout out to our listeners who reached out when I posted on Twitter about how I quit my job. People who I've never met before, just who I know online, Daniel Epler, Lana, and I've met Lana a couple times now, but I really appreciate it. It means a lot because even Daniel said on Twitter, he's just man, good for you, because it sounded like that job was literally murdering you. And
yeah, we've watched your slow decline.
Truthfully, it was, and I'm gonna be honest with everyone, and I don't know if I've told you this, Buzi, but this podcast has been keeping me alive. This podcast means an insane amount to me. I know it means a lot to you. A lot of times that we've done this, I've put on a voice, I've acted. Because this is the 2 hours of the week that I can kind of have some peace, because I have some...
We always have fun in here.
We do.
There's maybe been a handful of episodes where it's meh, but most of the time it's great.
It's therapy. It's therapeutic for me. I love doing it. I love how we've connected with all the people that we've connected with. to cap that off, the things are turning around for me real quick here, and I just want to say, like, one of the main things that happened, like, when John initially asked you and I to get aboard with the film festival and everything like that, I pretty much shot it down immediately because I quit before I began.
You said no right away, and I said yes right away.
Yeah, and it's because I just didn't feel like I could handle anymore. And but then I just finally said, like, fuck it, and I know that I would love doing it, and I know that I have to have something more positive in my life, so I did it. And with that one positive movement, that one small change that I made for myself, it's been a constant wave of awesome things happening ever since. Mm-hmm. Ever since that happened, we got the Dante stuff, and then we got the Sask Expo stuff. That was an amazingly fun weekend. Then one of my really good old friends, like guy I've been friends with my whole life, hired me. I'm working with just him. I'm in an incredible spot now with my job, and I'm still doing the same thing, but I'm in a much, much better place. And we're going to be hosting horror movie screenings. We're starting with Halloween and and fucking The Evil Dead, and we're being sent to Calgary to go to be around Robert Englund and like Nick Castle. And like, are you fucking kidding me, man? Like, I'm just telling you, if anyone's out there who's just kind of going through some shit right now, make one small change for yourself. It might impact you're like something else.
Considering doing something, and you're like, I don't know if I should. Work's blah blah blah. Fuck work. Like things outside of there.
Work is just work.
Work is just work, and at the end of the day, you need to do things. Wow, we just turned this into a big posy thing.
No, I think it's important.
No, it is, and like I've definitely felt waves like that before, where it's just like I'm literally just working to live, and that's it. You know, it's like I don't do anything outside of there, and it's like just embrace doing things outside of that, because you're always gonna have to fucking work. And there's I don't know anybody who's set for life that can just like do whatever the fuck whenever they want, and then there's that constant thing of like, oh, I'm too tired from work or whatever. It's like you need to capitalize and enjoy your life while it's happening. Don't just sit there and go like, oh, maybe on the weekend.
You're really doing it, and it's so easy to let other people bring you down too. Like I was for 3 years, I was surrounded by people who couldn't be further from their interests couldn't be further from mine. So imagine that all this horror movie stuff. I'm sure everyone listening to this can relate to this. That not everybody understands this, but imagine being around the smallest minded people for 10 hours a day for 80 to 90 hours every 2 weeks. And they find, like, I was trying to hide that I do this show. And that's sad, because this show is fucking awesome. And this is a huge bright spot in my life. When people found out about it, they were, like, making fun of me. And that, like, and you know, like I just said, like, fuck it. I have made some incredible friends from the show, and I've had such a good time doing it. And it's made my life drastically better. And I think that this is a good time to talk about that in our 3 years. Like, this has been... I'm so proud of us for sticking with it, and I don't know what I would have done if it wasn't for the show, actually.
Oh, 100%. I don't know. Do you want to go back to, like, the start?
Let's do it.
I was the last one to come on.
What do you mean?
I was the last person to fill this out.
Yeah.
It was originally...
I
was not part of that. I didn't even know you guys were talking about it, honestly.
Yeah, but that's because me and you were just kind of just starting to get to know each other.
It was a little bit of foreplay. Friendship foreplay?
Yeah, it was like that, yeah.
But I don't know. It's been exciting. I feel like it's 3 years later and we still don't entirely know what the fuck we're doing. But we're doing it. Whatever we are doing is well enough that people actually like want to visit us or like talk to us or engage in any way, you know. That's like the most exciting part. I think if no one was interested in what we were doing, we wouldn't have done 3 years of it.
No, fuck no.
And I think they're like, I can't speak for you, and I can't speak for Diego because he's obviously not with us anymore. Well, he's still alive. He's just not part of the podcast anymore. Is like, there are times where I've been like, fuck, we should just like pack it in. You know, there's been a couple times where it's crossed my mind is like, you know, maybe this isn't going anywhere, or, you know.
Yeah, no, me too. But like, the thing is, as much as I say, like, even when we began, I was like, honestly, I don't care if we have any listeners. I just want to do it to hang out with you guys. That can only go so far. Like,
I was going to say, I think I was the only one who was like, well, I think we do need to.
Yeah, no, and like, I truthfully meant that. but I didn't realize how important it is to actually have people want to listen to make it worthwhile.
Yeah.
And also the amount of times I've thought about reworking the show or changing our format or changing what we do or being more informative or doing more research or doing tackling different subjects or something like that, going out of our comfort zone. I'm like, you know what, that's not who we are. We're not good at that. Like we're obvious people listen. We're good at what we're good at being fucking morons.
Yeah, no, and I remember there was a time where like we were all taking notes and we were all doing that. And I know you're always like, oh, you guys should take notes or whatever, but I was like, our stuff significantly improved when we quit trying to be so matter of fact. You know, like how much of a bummer it is to like just read off like facts about something. It was just like,
I can remember my worst episode.
You can?
Yeah, and it was recent.
It was recent?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Well, no, that's not true. I'm sure I was way worse on different episodes. I think I'm the worst. Like, trust me, I hate myself way more than anyone who listens could ever. But like what you're saying, like being matter, like I wrote, like, I don't write notes. I don't write down a script for me to write. I do jot notes and be like, remember to talk about this.
Yeah,
like,
I'll do like bullet points once in a while. Yeah,
keywords to remember to be like, hey, mention this on the show. But no, I wrote down like a fucking thesis on Us. And that was so boring. I was like, man, who gives a fuck? Like, everyone who saw this movie already knows this. That movie was spoon feeding this to you.
Yeah.
But no, like, we are like, even, I think one person who I got to give a shout out for, who actually pumped our tires in a good way of letting us know that we should just be ourselves, is Jeff.
Jeff?
Yeah, Jeff. No, but Jeff Thiessen, he truthfully, like, when he came, I know we make a lot of jokes about him and everything like that, but when
I think people think that we don't like him, but we love Jeff.
Yeah, no, we actually do.
And I'm really sorry. I was supposed to be on an episode on Sunday, but I lost my voice.
You were supposed to be on an episode here on Monday.
Yeah, so. I had to cancel 2 podcasts, and I felt so bad. I'm like, guys, I literally, like, I missed out on going to like 3 or 4 things because it was like I physically can't talk.
Yeah. No, but I remember, like, it was when we first started hanging out with Jeff. But like, what I liked about that is, like, Jeff came on the show. He obviously listened to a bunch of episodes before he came on, but then after that, he was listening to like our fucking back catalog and like delving deep.
Yeah, I wouldn't suggest that.
No, but he gave a lot of really good constructive criticism on one of the ones where he's like, you guys are at your best when you're tackling really bizarre, stupid movies that you are all already sort of familiar with. And ever since then, we kind of tried to do that, and I feel like those are our best episodes.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you, Jeff.
Yeah, we've had like, I don't know. It's I don't think we're people who are good at talking about ourselves, especially upon like doing like, let's reflect about it and go like, I learned this or this, because it's hard to. I think if anyone who knows me and Mitch really well, is it's hard for us to give ourselves pats on the back without them being like condescending towards ourselves. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like one step forward, one step back, and we're always like that. But I'm proud of everything that we've done. And you know, when we started, it was just like, oh, haha, we do a podcast. And like, it's funny watching like everyone around us is like, oh my God, there's a community for this. There's so many podcasts that have either been around before, like how Eerie was, or like all these podcasts that have started since then. And a ton of them are our guests, and whether they're directly like, oh, I like what these guys are doing, or I could do this better, they went and did their own thing. And that's fucking awesome. Yeah. I love that a ton of people have been on here, started podcasts.
Yeah. I do love, and I think, yeah, because even Jeff had told me that he'd always entertained the idea of doing a podcast of his own, but it was coming on here that we had so much fun on that missed episode.
Yeah.
The first time he came on, he's like, I got to do one of these myself.
No, I'm not saying like we're taking credit for them. No, it's just like, it's amazing that these people went out and did that after.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's weird being like, oh, I do podcasts. I think it's odd.
It's becoming more and more lame by the day, like, because it is like, and that's not a shot at anybody. I do a podcast, but it's like literally everyone does a podcast now. Yeah. But that's not taken to, like, the thing is, if you got something to say and it's worth, like, if people want to listen to it, then go for it.
I think, you know what, if everyone started a podcast, that's great. And if you can survive that certain amount of time and realize that either what you have is worth continuing or not, is kind of that barrier. And that's like, I would tell that to anybody, is like, hey, I'm going to start a podcast. I'd be like, great, totally go for it. But it's like, make sure what you're doing is somewhat original to who you are, and that, you know, you can look yourself in the eye at a certain point and go, this is working or this is not. Because there probably is a shitload of podcasts out there who probably shouldn't be around anymore just because they never got to a certain point.
Yeah, or maybe they just try something new.
Yeah, totally. I'm not saying quit. It's just like whatever you're doing isn't working.
Load the gun, put it in your fucking mouth.
Like there would have been a certain point if we didn't have like a ton of people coming on, and I always remember like Dwight was one of like the first people who ever interacted.
Dwight was the first person.
Was he? Yeah, legit the first person.
And huge shout out to random American guy from the States.
And like Dwight's always been super awesome to us, and I mean like. He's the reason we have other people because he put us on Reddit.
No, I don't know if Dwight did that. Maybe he might have.
He found us from Reddit.
He found us on Reddit because Rick put us on Reddit.
Right. But like it really does take a community. Like the only reason we're here 3 years later, and I don't want this to sound corny because I'm sure it will come across corny. Is let's cheese it up. Because fucking so many people helped us to get where we are. We didn't know how to use any of this stuff. Someone taught us out of the goodness of their heart. Fucking taught us how to do this.
Was that Scott?
It was Scott.
Yeah, Scott.
But like so many people, there's so many people to thank, and I would hate to like name a bunch of people and forget other people.
I know.
But there's so many people who got us to where we are because they shouted us out, or they actually like listened to us, so we could go like, oh, someone actually is listening, so we kept going, whether people realize that or not.
That's what I for one am one of those people, so I never like, we can see our listens, we can see from which countries, which places people are listening to us and everything. So I'm one of those people who listens to so many different podcasts. I never interact with any of them, minus our group of friends like from Erie International, so be it, all those guys. But like, so I talk to those people. But I never once got the urge to be like, I listen to a podcast, I should reach out to these guys. So I have no pressure to people who don't want to do that. We can see who's listening and everything. That like it just means a lot that you're listening to begin with. But it does, like the fact that we had someone like Lana shout us out, the fact that Andy retweeted one day saying that they weren't going to have an episode out, so listen to us.
I remember that being a huge fucking moment. I was like, random people know who we are, kind of?
Yeah, the tweet that Andy sent from Erie International sparked a friendship with almost everyone in this
huge
group.
War.
Yeah, friendship/war with all of us. Like, I know you say you don't want to name a bunch of people, but I'm going to. And I really hope I don't forget anyone.
Okay, do you have it all listed?
It's sort of.
I fucking wish that I had the time now that you're about to do this, that I could have done, like, you know how like we didn't start the fire, where it's like dun dun dun, 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 like I could say that with people's names.
Yeah,
but fuck, I can't.
Do you want to just go? Kyle started the fire. Dallas started. Just do that.
True.
No, we're not going to do that for an hour.
Do that. Jeez.
No, but like shout out Dwight was the very first one. Like, here's the thing. I really, really hope I don't forget anyone, but I'm probably going to. So I apologize.
That's why it's so much pressure.
I literally did this 20 minutes before we started recording.
Cuff.
20 minutes before we started recording.
This is typical us fashion.
Yeah, this was just me thinking. I'm like, fuck, man. Like, we met a lot of people through this, and like, I just wanted to shout out like Dwight, Lana, Erie International, so David Hopkins, Andy, Dave Roberts, Stephen Brent from Let's Talk About Stuff, Kent Blue from Roll to Play Podcast, Sean Broom from The Story of You, Daniel Epler, who's now doing the Cobwebs Podcast, Dusty Rhodes, The American Dream, Wrestle Flapjacks, who I've been talking on Twitter quite a bit recently, Bryson Burtalk, our goddamn boy.
I heard a little bird might be coming down here.
Yeah. He's sleeping in the Buzi nest.
Yeah, I gotta find a place for him to sleep.
Yeah, and Seb's coming here.
Seb?
Yeah.
Seb has helped us much.
Seb has helped us debatably the most out of anyone. Like, and that's not to shut down what anyone has done for us, but Seb has done so much free work for us.
Yeah, so I was going to say, for the amount of free he's done for us when he should have charged us out the ass
Seb is a professional who charges a lot for what he does, rightfully so, and like our logo and all of our designs and stuff like that, and Seb has done it all for just being a bro. A guy we have never met in person.
I told him I'm going to hug him when I see him.
I told him I'm going to suck his dick, but he doesn't want that.
Can I hug him? Actually, maybe hug... You do that first, and I'll hug him after, so we'll be flaccid.
Yeah, he might have that post-nut clarity. But no, like, even from our own city, man, people who I didn't knew exist. Well, and some of these people I knew existed. Some of them were my friends, but like Jeff and Johnny from So Be It. The fact that they're now good friends of ours because of the show. Darcy Meredith and Jen Norland, now really good friends of ours. Like, I was with them in Calgary last weekend, I'm going to be in Calgary with them again next weekend. Kyle Zuravinsky, debatably one of my favorite human beings on earth now.
I love him so much.
Kyle is just an incredible treat. Dallas Neeson, my best friend, he was on for the episode on The Gate. He doesn't even he likes horror movies, but it's not his thing. Meant a lot that he even came on at all. Just that was cool. Justin Bruce, the guy watched fucking 19 Amityville movies. Absolute maniac. Jesse Sawitsky, fuck him. Jambi is an OG too, though. Yeah. Jambi gives us so many. I remember how excited we all were when Jambi does his little, because he's got his little drawings. His
little drawings.
No, but he's an incredible artist. Whether he wants to admit it or not, he's become a really good comic book artist, and he's an even better. He's just got something going with his artwork and his writing, and his comic strips are really interesting, really funny. And he did one of the Terror Table, and I remember we were all really stoked about that.
Oh yeah,
the werewolf one.
Well, I was looking, Kayla made us there's stuff inside our fucking studio here that's from people made us.
Yep, Kayla made us what do you call it?
It's a Ouija board.
Yeah, it's a Ouija board.
It's crochet. No, it's not crochet. I don't know.
Is crochet that lawn golf game? That's croquet.
Croquet. It's knitted crochet. It's made of fabric and our names on it.
Yeah.
There we go.
There we go. Jason Hamill, absolute maniac, and one of my favorite people. He was on here twice, I believe. Yes. Jason introduced us to Nicholas Humphreys.
Yeah.
Nicholas Humphreys also, I can say probably one of our favorite episodes, just because that was a guy who we'd never met before. Absolutely hit it off. Loved every single minute we spent with him, and we try and keep in contact with him as much as possible now, even though he lives on the other side of the country, and he's just an incredibly talented, awesome person. Gabrielle Parent from The Dark Market, Craig Silliphant from the Feedback Society, Larry Parsons from the Rank and Review podcast, Lee Beckman, the
also
most passionate motherfucker you will ever meet.
Also from Rank and Review.
Yes, also he's Rank and Review family.
Yeah.
Speaking of family, Tara Oliver, my sister, she's been on multiple times, and she's now book club alumni. Courtney Sperling, my bebe, my booty queen. Dylan Hershuk, also my booty queen. Adam Lelos, Tyler Sandin, Alexis Olenek, Kayla Grant, Thomas Winemaster, John Allison, Jeff Drake, Tyler Baptist, Mike Fisher. Man, that's so many goddamn people.
And those have all been people who have been guests on the show.
Those are all guests on the show. 4 of them were my friends before this.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people realize that, because I don't know how it translates in an episode, because I'm here. I can't change that.
This episode is us just bragging about how successful we are.
But the idea is we'll have an episode and we're having such a fun time with the guest, and I'm assuming people think oh, we've met them before. Most of the time we talk to these people most of the people we've never met. We talk to them for 5 to 10 minutes before we start.
Yeah.
And then we just go, and it's produced so many friendships out of it.
Yeah.
But we literally, it's just off the cuff. Hi, I've never met you before.
Yeah, we just message people who are hey, they do something sort of like this, or they seem like they might be into horror movies.
Yeah, or people have randomly messaged us, and we're yeah, sure, come on in. You know,
totally.
I don't know. There's a certain thing where I've had to become more social. Mm-hmm. I feel I had to become way more social out of my shell, because we're constantly meeting strangers, you know, and you have to be friendly, and
Very true. And some of these people we fucking hated. Just kidding. No, I can honestly say that I don't think there's a single person that we hated besides Jesse.
Yeah, fucking Jesse. But the amount of people that we've become friends with, it does just sound like we're just having a fucking choke our chicken fest right now.
It is, but it's been great. We got to do this.
We do, but we mean it from the heart. Is the amount of people, it takes a village, and it really did, to get us to 3 years.
Yeah.
I think if none of these people came into contact, whether we went out to them or they came to us, if that didn't happen the way it happened, we probably wouldn't be here where we are. And this year's been hard for us. I mean, we recently lost Diego, which was that, that's someone who's been here since day 1 too.
Yeah.
And we haven't mentioned him a ton right now, but he was such a huge part of this podcast, and he still is, because he let us continue doing this.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
It could have, like him leaving on a sour note could have completely destroyed everything.
Yeah, like it probably would. We probably would have just stopped. Yeah. But you know, we all are still friends. We went, you know, he went out in the best way possible, and like it feels okay for us to continue doing it. Yeah, do you know what I mean?
I agree.
But like that, for a lot of people, that would probably like, you know,
pack it in.
Yeah, pack it in. And like I don't think either myself or Mitch ever entertained that idea when we heard initially that Diego was leaving.
No, it didn't cross my mind.
Yeah, like I don't know, what else do we say? Like
I think we should just maybe get on to talking about Guillermo del Toro fucking me.
Right.
The people have waited, and but let's wrap up this little love fest here. Basically, we really appreciate everybody's support. This has been, I can honestly say, all of the positive things in my life this podcast has played a huge role in that. Like I said before, if you're even thinking about doing something even slightly out of your comfort zone that might make you, you know what, it might fail, but just try it.
Yeah,
just try it and just do something for yourself, because I really wish I would have done this earlier, because it's really brought out, it's kept my soul alive.
But I mean, like, we kind of mentioned at the start, all the things that are coming up. The only reason these are coming up is because we were part of a podcast and that became a network. But like,
and because we slept our way to the top.
It's true. We have sucked a lot of awful things. Yeah. But like, if you would have told us 3 years ago when we started on our very first episode where we didn't know how to talk into microphones, or we kept like, I think I fucked up saying my name like 6 times and we had to keep restarting.
Man, I was so bad.
Yeah, I know.
I'm still so bad.
No, I don't mean you. I was like, I'm terrible. But like, if you would have told those 3 guys in a room before that, like, hey, this is what's gonna, these are all the experiences, people are gonna come down and meet you, and like, you know, just where we're sitting today, like it, like what Mitch was saying is like, just go out and do what you wanted to do, and if you fail, whatever, you at least tried to do it.
Exactly. And it's never too late to get circumcised.
It's true. We're always looking for more brethren of the no hood.
Yes.
The less hooded.
Come into the light, my son. Take the hood off.
Don't we also have a message on our? We had a message.
Oh yeah,
we can't just skip that.
We got one message.
So thank you to Lana.
Okay, so Lana, and also like yeah. So seriously, I know we ask people for this stuff, but we certainly don't expect it, and we do. I know we ask it a lot, but we really appreciate when people message us stuff. We know everyone's busy and they don't have time to,
or they just don't want to fucking say anything.
Exactly, and that's totally fine. But we appreciate this, Lana. I actually haven't read this yet, so I'm going to read it right now.
I've left it all week just to.
Yeah, so this is from Lana. Hi guys, happy 3-year anniversary. First for your podcast, and second for us as friends. How has it been 3 years? I don't know. So happy that I made all of you talk to me and be my friends. I think life has been significantly better since I met you all. Diego too, even though he has departed. Anyhow, my favorite memory has obviously been traveling down there to see all of you guys in person and hang out for a few days. It wasn't long enough, but I couldn't have had a better time. Love you.
Aww.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Love you too.
Yeah, and yeah, and I just gotta give an extra shout out to the. Probably the best day of my life was Halloween in Florida.
The day I wasn't there, yes.
Yes.
No, best day is where I'm not around. It was
fucking awesome, but yeah. Okay.
All right. You guys want to hear some real gross shit?
Okay, so which one are you doing first? Because
we're doing Darcy's first.
Okay, so we started playing this on the last episode with John and Jeff here, and we chose to omit it because we listened to the whole thing. And I'm assuming that most of the people who wanted to tune in for that episode just to hear about the film fest,
fucking way.
They didn't want to hear this. And this is for like the true fucking Terror Table listeners who are conditioned to a certain level of fuckery.
Yeah. This is NSFW to the extreme, and like Mitch said, we actually listened to the whole thing, and then we all paused
and said
no, this is not happening on this episode. We'll do it on a different one. So you're gonna hear it now. I don't like it. Grossed me out, and it takes a certain amount to gross me out. So
play it close to them.
Enjoy,
because he's playing this from his phone because Darcy sent it in a file that we can't just play on.
Yeah, he sent it to me through Messenger, and there's literally no way to save it onto my phone or any other way other than me playing it through my phone. So I'm sorry for the sound quality, but Darcy has a delicious voice, so I'm sure it'll make up for whatever we're lacking. So here we go.
Hey, Teabaggers. So I thought this wouldn't get quite the emotional impact I was going for unless the author, me, read it. Fun fact, I was already actually writing this when Mitch said on the podcast, Darcy will be all over this, so Mitch, maybe you know me too well. But here we go. This is my erotic fan fiction from Mitch and Guillermo del Toro. I still didn't believe the email I was reading. This is Guillermo del Toro's agent, and he heard your podcast and would like to be on it someday. This had to be a prank. There's no way the great Guillermo del Toro would want to be on my podcast. I quickly deleted the email and thought to myself how this could be a great bit tonight when we recorded our episode. Fuck, the podcast. I'd been staring at that email for over an hour, and my co-host Buzi would be here in a few minutes. I had totally flaked on all the thorough prep work I always do for the episode. Guess I was going to have to ad-lib this one. And now I'm going to do my best Mitch impression. Welcome to the Terror Table. We're horror boys and we talk horror boy things. I could do the introduction in my sleep while juggling dildos and riding a unicycle at this point. Just get through it and talk about what I saw this week. No big deal. Get to the news portion and fuck with whichever listener sent that prank email. Hit me with that motherfucking news, Booze. Yes, now it was time. Boozy went through all the headlines and now it was time for some fun. I told our listeners about the email and then requested that they send the email account dick pics and forward all of their spam to it. Shortly after the episode aired, I got another email. A very official email explaining that thanks to us, the agency representing Mr. Del Toro had to change its email, and that Mr. Del Toro would be in Saskatoon for a short period of time, and for some reason he still wanted to do the podcast. This time I decided to go along with it. We chatted back and forth to determine when and where we could do the podcast. I didn't want some prankster knowing where I live, so we decided to rent a private room at a local bar. The plan was to fill the room with anyone willing to whip their dick out once Mr. Del Toro showed up. A few days after our initial email exchange and everything was set, we had a private room and about 30 guys eager to show some random prankster their dingers. It was a beautiful sight. I know I've been in a room with this many men eager to drop their pants, but I just can't remember when. The waitress poked her head in to inform us that our final guest was here. As soon as she left, everyone dropped their pants to their ankles and a few giggles of excitement could be heard as the door opened to reveal Guillermo del fucking Toro. Fuck was all I could say as I stood in front of a line of well-trimmed dongs. This is a lovely buffet you've prepared for me, Mr. Del Toro proclaimed. A few of the men attempted to pull their pants up, but were interrupted by Mr. Del Toro. No, leave them down. I would like all of you to know who's in charge while we record this podcast. Myself, Buzi, and Mr. Del Toro sat down as the crowd of unsheathed men gathered around us. Buzi hit the record button, and before I could deliver the introduction, Mr. Del Toro interrupted me. Before we jump in, I would just like to let you know that I am indeed circumcised, and I had it touched up to be on your show. I noticed at this point that it appeared that he was smuggling a squirrel in his tight leather pants, and it appeared to be growing. For now, I try to focus on the podcast, but before long, I glanced over to see how his pants down, and he is slowly stroking his massive boner. My focus is drawn away by Buzi yelling at me, Mitch, what do you think of Deep Blue Sea? It was thick, juicy, I managed to stammer. Mitch, why don't you just blow him, and me and Del Toro can talk about horror, and you can join us once it's out of your system, Buzi said. Yeah, is all I can say. I look around, and some of the other men have begun slowly stroking themselves, matching Del Toro's rhythm. It's truly beautiful. I remove my headphones and crawl under the table toward the throbbing, spicy chunk of man meat and ready my eager mouth. As I work away, I can hear Buzi asking him questions about upcoming projects, and Mr. Del Toro answers them so articulately, and between his responses, he leans over to whisper things in my ear. I'm going to come so hard in your face, pussy, that it shoots out your nose. Just like that, you little twink bitch. I think to myself, wow, what a professional. As I wrap up the interview and begin to move into news, I feel a pair of strong hands grasp the back of my head and a rope of hot, sticky goo pound the back of my neck. And as I struggle for air, the sticky fluid bursts out of my nostrils as the other men stroking their shafts paint the room with their loads. Best interview ever, I think to myself. The next day, you could watch our download counter skyrocket. 1,000 viewers, 10,000 viewers, it just wasn't stopping. We checked our emails and were flooded with requests from our favorite names in the industry requesting to be guests on our show. Before long, we had picked our next guest. The email coming from an agency representing Mike Flanagan. It read, Mike Flanagan is excited to hear from you and to show you what he takes his shirt off for. All right. Thanks for playing this on your show. Thank you to the teabaggers, and sorry for having this story invade your ear holes. I'm going to go take a hot shower and try to cleanse my body with steel wool and caustic soda.
Jesus Christ.
It's just as gross as the first time.
Oh, man.
It's just as gross as I remember.
It felt twice as long. So it's like, oh, God, I keep forgetting that there's more.
That was really good, honestly, though. Like, it was...
He's a creative goddamn.
Yeah, it was so well written. That's the only part where I'm like,
you gotta give him mad props for the Flanagan twist at the end. The Mike Flanagan twist. That was great.
Thank you, Darcy.
Yeah, thank you, Darcy. You truthfully are one of a kind.
And sick as fuck.
Yeah, you are a fucking twisted man.
We have one more.
Okay.
Kent Blue sent us one in, and
So
Kent has a great imagination.
I haven't read this one, or we didn't even get here the last time.
No. So the title for this email, the subject line is "Remember you asked for this."
Fuck.
I'll try my best reader voice. An excerpt from chapter 14 of The Devil's Cockbone. Mitchell Jean Francis Oliver shivered in the foyer of the Grand Estate. Droplets of cold rain fell from his soaked jean jacket, forming small puddles on the marble floor. The squelching of his shoes echoed off the strange and intriguing sculptures lining the hall before him. Though he was cold, a warmth was growing in his heart. He was here, in Guillermo del Toro's mansion. Mitchell wanted to explore, to take in the art his idol filled his enormous home with. But Mr. Del Toro told him to wait while he fetched a towel and a change of clothes. And he did not want to disappoint who he considered to be one of the most creative minds of the last century. So he waited, shivering but filled with warmth. The sound of a door closing and the shuffling of feet sounded from the second floor landing. Finally, his host was returning. Mitchell Jean bounced with giddy anticipation as Guillermo made his way down the stairs. "I don't have visitors often, especially not one of your physique," he said as he held up a silk bathrobe. "So I didn't have much to choose from as far as dry clothes."
That's such a weird Guillermo del Toro voice.
I don't know what to go. What would...
I can't even... Like, I can't... No, I can't... Keep going.
"I don't have visitors often." The man chuckled coyly as he handed Mitchell a towel in the silk robe. Toweling off his head, Mitchell did not notice the Academy Award-winning filmmaker had stepped closer. Which voice do you want? "My dear, you are fiercely shivering. Would you like for me to embrace you and share my body heat? I am always quite warm." Mitchell beamed at the thought of sharing a hug with a man he admired so greatly. Not to mention the man had asked for consent, so his progressive attitude toward personal boundaries was quite impressive. Here's my... "Please," Mitchell said. I would very much enjoy that. Guillermo took the towel and wrapped it around Mitchell's shivering torso. He wrapped his big arms around Mitchell's back and pulled him close. The heat was intense and comforting. It was nice, but it was also something else. Mitchell's body was reacting to the embrace, and in ways he hadn't expected. Embarrassed, he thought she should pull away before anything was noticed. Then he felt it. He felt Guillermo's Oscar against his thighs. The two men leaned into each other. They looked into each other's eyes, and Del Toro spoke. "I'm impressed by your body of work." "Thanks, I was circumcised." Mitchell Jean leaned in and whispered in Academy Award-winning filmmaker Guillermo del Toro's ear. "As a teenager." Guillermo smiled and whispered, "Show me." The end.
Oh. Tasteful ending.
I think my favorite part was about him being progressive.
Yeah, asking for consent.
Not to mention the man had asked for consent, so his progressive attitude towards personal boundaries was quite impressive. It's so tastefully written.
Kent's a genius.
Thank you both for those. Those are great. I'm hoping to do more again soon. No. I would like to be seduced at some point by somebody.
Yeah, we'll let you get fucked next time. I think I've been fucked enough as is.
Also, I'd like to mention, with it being our 3-year anniversary, we had a surprise.
Through your birthday.
For our birthday.
It's our 111th birthday.
So just like to mention, we received a birthday cake. You'll see this on our Instagram, where we're going to be posting it on there. This was brought to you by Mama Fox Treats. You can follow her on Instagram. I've bought a ton of stuff from her. If you're wondering what Mama Fox Treats is, it's infused food. It's not it's not limited to your typical edibles. This is for all the pot people out there. I guess if you don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
It's got the devil's lettuce.
Yeah, so Saskatoon-based, gluten-free edibles, everything from jalapeno poppers, hummus, ice creams, and baked goods to chocolates and candies.
All very 420 friendly.
They are all amazing. She made me a cake for my birthday that was fucking incredible.
And he's still high.
And I'm still there. They do discreet delivery. She just recently celebrated her first year of business, which I've been with her from the start, and it's awesome. I love everything she's done. I had meatballs that were incredible, I have to tell you guys. She also has just put in an OG rewards program. So if you get 5 consecutive orders and 8 orders total, you earn free products, which... who doesn't like free stuff? And this is awesome. This is how you do a business model. She's also
free things.
Yeah. So basically every month you can order certain items. She'll have show what items are available through her Instagram, as well as she does these goodie boxes that you can buy, and you'll get a little bit of everything to kind of try out and see what you like. And she also does special orders. If you wanted your own cake done, she can do that. You just have to give her some notice. And right now she's currently doing Halloween themed boxes, as well as she's working her way into CBD bath bombs that are they're going to be out within the next week. So her October box is caramel candy apples, lollipops, gummy worms, chocolate pumpkins, popcorn balls, cheesecake, and pumpkin spice ice cream. So if you're 420 friendly and you want to get some snacks, this stuff is incredible. And you know what? It's I don't know. I don't know what else to say.
Let's be real here. This cake is fucking awesome.
I didn't even I kind of mentioned.
Yeah, you mentioned she made us a cake. She made us a Terror Table birthday cake
with a big fucking bloody knife. A
big fucking bloody knife right in the middle of it. We're gonna post pictures, like you said, on our Instagram and our Facebook and Twitter. So follow us there. We'll tag her account there. So give her a follow. Like some of her shit. Let her know Terror Table sent you.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you're in the Saskatoon area. Practice your right to smoke that gounge.
And that was like the worst fucking
most
plug ever.
White person thing. That's
you
me being
kids. No, but on a more serious note, is pot's now legal here, and this is a new market that's opening up. And for a lot of this stuff, it's not just for hanging out with your buddies in a dank basement. This stuff is your on the go stuff. If you want to get floored for a day, you can have a bunch of stuff on a Saturday and just hang out. A lot of this stuff is also great pain relievers. A ton of the stuff is great for that. Also, there's a lot of these products have a ton of CBD elements. So if you're feeling a little high strung, you can take I know I'd gotten some cake balls, that sort of thing. If you're feeling a little high strung, have one of those. Half an hour later, you're going to be calm and relaxed. You're not going to be jonesed out of your tree. You're going to be very relaxed, and you're going to have a good time, whatever you're doing.
You are a great spokesman for marijuana for everyone.
And I always should be.
Since we are probably about to get to the point, so we don't have a main feature, we won't have any news, but we are going to talk about what we've watched over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And then we're going to close the episode out for the day. This is just the 3-year birthday episode. I will say that more than half of what I watched has been heavily under the influence of some marijuana.
I just want to say that I'm so happy that I'm not the only one here anymore.
So here's the thing though. I can't remember a single day in high school where I wasn't stoned. I was stoned. Okay. I was like that.
You overdid it.
I was a massive fucking pothead, and I was for a large portion of my early 20s. And then I eventually quit completely, stopped for so long. And then when I went back to do it, it just didn't do it for me the way it made everything worse. Mm-hmm. Not the case anymore. I'm in a better headspace now, and now that it's regulated and that you can find specific kinds for specific things,
like that.
I only get indicas because I always want to be in the couch.
No, that's like a common misconception though, is like, yeah, you can have a lot of bad times with these because of what strains you get. Because for the longest time when this shit wasn't legal, or I know some place in the States still isn't legal, is you're buying whatever the fucking dude that, you buy from. And it's just, he'll ask what it is. I don't know. There's seeds and stems in it. It fucking sucks. Well, the thing is that now with all this stuff being regulated, you can find these strains that will give you the certain things that you want. This idea of like you just get stoned and hang out is not a thing anymore. There is stuff for like if you want to be active. It's like over the I wasn't a pothead for a very, very fucking long time. I mean, sometimes it probably sounds on here like I've been doing it since like my day of birth. Yeah. But like it's been like probably the last 4 years where I've really gotten into it, and it's not just like, oh, I'm a stoner. It's like it's a lifestyle. It's part of my lifestyle.
It's helped you a lot.
It has, and that's the thing is like I went through some rough shit a couple years ago. It was actually while we were doing this podcast, and I hit a lot of that. And Mitch knows about this. It's not something we have to go into in detail, but I went through a bunch of shit, and I found that, like you don't have to take like over the counter fucking heavy medication to fix yourself all the time. A lot of times you can find these sort of things in products such as marijuana, and that's why I will never say that marijuana is a terrible thing. I think it has its place just like everything else, and you just have to find whatever right strains work for you. It's like drinking, you know what I mean? It's like
the drinking is a million times worse.
No, but it's that idea of like if you just randomly got alcohol from a dealer and you're like, what am I getting? You know what I mean? Like, well, all of a sudden you got whiskey and you want to fight somebody, or you got beer, and it's the exact same thing. Is that you have to find what works for you, and I think that for people who need it, especially like if you're dealing with like I don't know, it's hard to say because there's like. There's certain ones that will help if you have like arthritis, physical ailments. I know people who have arthritis who take, various forms, whether they smoke it or, they ingest something because you can get capsules, or whether they have an edible like what Mama Fox is doing. But, there's, and a lot of it is for, as well as like if you have depression, it can help with that. ADHD, all these things that it can help out with. And sorry, I just turned this into a PSA of like,
you're going hard, and I appreciate it. The word needs to be spread. No, because there's still a stigma with it though. So there's a lot of people who aren't well educated on the whole subject, and they want to just write it off as something like that. It's actually there are people who truthfully think that drinking is less harmful.
Yeah,
and
that's the part that really sucks. And then there's kind of that stigma of like, I'll always get lumped in as like that stoner guy. I spent most of my life not, I didn't start smoking weed till about 3 or 4 years ago, which, like, this is honest, like full time. I tried it in high school, didn't care for it. Yeah. And it just became something where like it helps.
Man, it has been helping so much the last week.
If you have trouble sleeping, I used to take sleep medication every fucking day, and that's hard on your body. I took sleep medication every single day because I can't sleep. It's just a thing. I take something, I smoke something, whether I eat, I smoke something before I go to bed, and it's clear.
Dude, I've been doing that for 3 fucking years. 3 years I've been off and on trying to find different sleep medications, and this shit the last couple nights have been the only times I've slept. And I couldn't decide if that's because finally I don't want to kill myself when I wake up in the morning and go to my job, or if it's because I'm smoking pot at night. And I just had a great time watching Nightmare Before Christmas. Let's talk about movies.
Okay, sorry, just before I did that whole PSA is use responsibly. Just like with everything else, use responsibly. Yes, this can be a great benefactor for a lot of people, but if you're abusing something, it's just like anything else, it's going to turn out bad.
And it's just like most things, they do work as suppositories, so put them firmly up your butt and you will be good.
I like how we just did the total this is what the terror table is, the total dynamic of
yes. Okay, all right, you want to get on to what we've been seeing? Okay, do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first? I got a lot, but I'm going to power through it.
I also have a decent amount.
Do you want to switch off?
Sure.
I'll go first, then you go, then I go, then you go. Okay, I'm going to start off. I rewatched Crawl.
Really?
Yeah, because you can now download it. I couldn't wait to buy it, so I rented it on the PlayStation Network. I'm still going to buy it, but I've been really looking forward to watching it. I was like, fucking rights, I want to get crazy stoned and watch Crawl. Okay, so people, Crawl is 0% chill. There is no chill in that goddamn movie. But you've heard me, obviously, at this point. I know I've blown the life out of the movie already, so there's not much more I can say. Everyone knows I love the movie. The thing is, this time around, on a second viewing, I don't feel like I gave it enough credit for how amazing the effects are in it. I think next time you watch it, I don't know what it was, maybe in the theater or if, like, I don't know, man.
As much as we were paying attention to that movie,
we were so excited.
We were so excited because we're sitting with people we've never met before, like, just having the time of our life.
That, but also, like, I remember thinking, I was like, oh, a couple parts looked pretty CGI, because of course it's CGI. Man, it did not look like that at all at home. Like, and I know I was stoned. That's the worst part about saying that you're stoned. People are going to be like, they were just high. But it's like, no, if anything, I was paying closer attention than you fucks.
Yeah, you
sorry to be
you
so
really
hostile.
do pay more attention.
You do. You pay way. You're all you're
act
thinking
like
about.
You're not paying attention. It's like you're
only
extreme
paying attention
focus.
to this. Yeah, you're extremely focused. But no, like the creature work is just amazing. It's just such a good creature movie. The effects in alligators look even better at home. The thing that I will say that didn't work as well for me the second time, unfortunately, is the father-daughter stuff. The second time around, I feel like we were saying before, I might have been a little too excited the first time around, that I may have given it a pass or not really paid close attention to it, but it was all pretty heavy-handed, and I just thought there was a lot of parts where I was just like, man, you guys should not be having this conversation right now. There is 3 alligators surrounding you. Let's stop talking about how fast you can swim and just get the fuck out of here. Or like they'll be talking about their parents' divorce and shit like that. And I get it. It's like, that's the substance. That's the meat of the movie that they want. They're trying to make you care about these people, and for the most part you do, and you care more than you should in a movie about killer alligators killing people in a basement. But I just think they might have leaned a little too heavily in that. Not taken away from anything. I still fucking love this movie.
Well, they needed to give you characters to care about.
That's exactly it. But I just feel like the second time around it didn't. It was a little more, and I know it's cheesy to begin with, but it was a little cheesier the second time. And I understood, because Courtney wasn't in love with the movie the way that we were. I remember I was like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, when we left the theater and she gave it 3 on Letterboxd, I'm like, are we going to be okay?
Are you not letting Courtney have an opinion anymore?
No, just on that one, though, I was like, Courtney, are you trying to break up with me? Like, that was fucking incredible. And then she explained to me while we were watching it this time that was what she didn't like. And I was like, oh, no, I get it. I was like, I get that. But she bumped her score this time because she liked it more this time.
Okay, good.
But no, it's a great movie. It's a really great movie. You want to go next?
Sure. I watched a new film. It just came out this year. It's credited as last year, but it's new to Netflix. I watched The Perfection.
Fuck yeah, I talked about that a couple episodes ago.
Yeah, directed by Richard Shepard. He has the strangest filmography I've ever... He did something with 30 Rock. He's put out a couple movies that I've never heard of. He's done a lot of TV stuff, and he's going to be working on Twilight Zone, the TV series.
Oh, bummer.
So he's a bit all over the place, but The Perfection it's beautiful. It's such an amazing film. It's also like...
Give people an idea of what it's about before, because...
I don't want to give anything away, but
I know, but it's just the general idea from the beginning.
It's basically about, like... What's the word Ryan uses it in The Office? Wunderkind. It's about wunderkind students who are playing instruments at this school, and you have to be like a certain level. And it's about basically this one girl who kind of lost that, and she was supposed to be like the big student or whatever, and she got out of doing this in the school, and she goes to watch this other girl, and they start interacting, and she's saying how much they look up to each other, and then it starts turning into like a flirty romance.
It's like a dueling musicians thing, but then they like admire each other.
Yeah, I don't want to give too much away because I think
on
people
Netflix.
Should watch it.
It's great.
It has one of the most beautifully choreographed musical sex scenes. I don't know how to explain it. It does something that like, oh God, a lot of movies don't do this well, but it blends those two together so well. Like, it feels like sometimes, like, do you remember certain scenes in Suspiria where like dancing was happening, but something more malicious was also happening at the same time? I'm talking about the current one, the 2018 one. There's, you know what scene I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Okay. I hopefully people at home can understand what I'm talking about. But like, they choreograph these scenes so well that like you're watching these people play instruments and they're playing these beautiful songs and their notes are picking up and they're playing off each other, and then it goes to this graphic sex scene, and like it folds together so well. I love this movie a lot. It totally reminds me of that same vein of like, oh God, like kind of like how Starry Eyes is. Like, it reminded me a lot of that same vein. So if you're interested in like movies like that,
it's extremely brutal.
It's very violent. Yeah. And tons of twists. And the first time I watched it, like after I was done, I thought about it and I was like,
You watched it twice?
yeah, I did.
Holy fuck.
Well, because it's so jarring at the start because so many twists happen and you think it's kind of like, I don't know, like a gimmick. But the more you think about it, you're like, oh, this is a really well thought out story.
Do you know what I mean? But like, I know other people have said this as well, but like, it feels like, especially like the ending, like it feels like it should have been a Korean movie for how weird it is. Because it's pretty bizarre. Like you don't take it literally. Just watch it as an extreme, pretty bonkers horror movie.
Honestly, if this was like, oh, this is a Korean film, it would totally fit right in.
Yeah, just you wouldn't question it.
No.
If it was a Korean movie, you'd be like, oh, that's normal.
So yeah, like I totally would recommend people doing that to go check out this movie. It's awesome.
Also, how hot is that chick? Both of them.
Both.
But like the what's her name? The one that wasn't in Get Out. Sorry. Do you want me to go next?
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay. So like I was saying before, heavy on the dope this weekend. Courtney and I were just like, okay, so let's practice our legal right to party.
It is your legal right.
Yeah. And let's watch some dark, twisted children's movies. So we went hard in the paint on some Henry Selick stop motion animated movies. Watch Coraline.
Okay.
Have you seen Coraline?
Yes, I have.
Coraline, based on the story by Neil Gaiman, directed by Henry Selick. So Henry Selick's the guy who directed James and the Giant Peach and Nightmare Before Christmas. So I'm going to quickly I talked about this. I shared the story on Twitter, but I'm going to share it here quickly. It was like 4 or 5 years ago. A friend was dating this girl who was showing off her Tim Burton back piece. She had a full back piece of Tim Burton characters, and dead fucking center was Coraline.
Oh, okay.
And it's like, yeah, but that's not Tim Burton though. And she's like, yeah, it is. It's like, no, Tim Burton has nothing to do with Coraline. He's not even a fucking producer on Coraline. It's just his connection with Henry Selick and how it's kind of similar to Nightmare Before Christmas and that whole style. But I think.
Wait, didn't you say he directed Nightmare Before Christmas?
He directed Nightmare Before Christmas, but Coraline, Henry Selick directed Nightmare Before Christmas.
Okay.
Tim Burton produced it.
Okay.
So that's Tim Burton. So Nightmare Before Christmas, fine, we'll give it to you. He produced it.
Sure.
And there's a lot of Tim Burton.
Yeah, they probably talked to each other, gave each other like a
fist bump or something. Gave him his money.
Yeah.
But Coraline has fucking nothing to do with Tim Burton. But it is an incredible movie. Like, it is just such a good movie. And yeah, it's debatably, I don't know if I can say I like it more than Nightmare Before Christmas, because I have such a huge spot in my soul for Nightmare Before Christmas. But Coraline is just like one of the most twisted. It's one of those movies that while Courtney and I were watching it, we're just like, how in the fuck do kids watch this movie? Because I don't know if you remember it. If any of you are out there listening who haven't seen it, or can barely remember it, or need a refresher, I highly recommend checking it out. It's definitely got some Halloween vibes. It's good to check out this time of year. But it is twisted, and it is such a bleak story, and it's beautiful, it's whimsical, it's fun. It's just perfect for this time of the year. And I'm just going to double team that with, I also watch Courtney and I watch Nightmare Before Christmas as well. Same thing can be said here. The only thing is, the only negative I can say about Nightmare Before Christmas is it makes you think about Christmas, and it's not time to think about Christmas.
Yeah.
I don't want Christmas right now. That's not the focus.
As soon as you heard like jingling bells, you're like, that's not yet.
No, it's not the time. But the thing is, the songs, like, I'm not a musical guy. I don't love musicals. I don't have anything against them. They're few. I don't get super excited about a new musical. But for the most part, I've seen a lot of great musicals. I just wouldn't consider myself a huge musical fan. But I fucking love the songs in Nightmare Before Christmas. I think they're addictingly good. The movie as a whole is so much more sinister than I remember. I've seen the movie so many times, but like we said, when you're stoned, you spend way more time paying attention. And it is so dark and twisted watching them torture Santa Claus. Like, they're basically torturing Santa Claus, and how whole Oogie Boogie's made of fucking cockroaches and spiders. And I'm like, man, there is so much shit in here. And I remember it because I grew up Catholic. I went to a Catholic school, and they used to show Nightmare Before Christmas in school because there was one line that said, just because it's invisible doesn't mean you can't believe in it.
Oh, for fuck's sakes.
But then the rest of the movie is about, like, fucking up Santa. It's just like, the whole movie's about Jack Skellington gathering up a posse to fuck up Christmas. And that's exactly what he does, and it's great. I love that movie. But, yeah, Buzi, you can go next.
I rewatched the first It movie.
Okay.
Not the TV one. The first, yeah.
2017.
Yeah, because we watched the other one a little while ago.
It Chapter 2.
I think I like Chapter 1 better.
Yeah, that's most people.
Yeah, it seemed more cohesive and a lot more exciting, and I think it really encapsulated what obviously I kind of not complained about, but like the thing that kind of made it more endearing to people is that whole like growing up thing and like being kids, and I think it encapsulates a lot of that super well. And I also think the stuff with Pennywise is genuinely a little bit more creepy in this one.
It's definitely a scarier movie. I'm making quotes with my fingers. I know it's a podcast.
When you talk like this, that means you're using
I'm
quotations.
Doing quotes.
But yeah, and it's awesome is that you, after watching the second one so recently, having that fresh in my mind, seeing a lot of the things in Derry that you see in the second one. Like, I didn't realize that the Paul Bunyan statue, I totally forgot that was there. But it's just such a nice touch in that movie too, where you're watching it and you see like characters acting weird in the background because Pennywise is controlling them. It's interesting stuff like that that's in the background. Super awesome movie. We've talked at length about the sequel, but I do think that the first one is a lot better, and I love the way it ends because I didn't realize what Pennywise whispered the first time I watched that movie. So
about
seeing
how
it,
he'll be back 27 years later.
No, what he says to
Richie.
He says to Richie because he
I know you're,
quotes a line from Richie because Richie's trying to fix his stutter and he's using the same thing over and over. And that's. I can't remember
Bill.
Yeah, I can't remember what the actual line is, but it's such a nice callback that you realize that Pennywise is trying to look into his brain and figure out what he can do to scare him, and all he's coming up with is this rhyme over and over. It's such a nice touch. I think people may have missed that because I missed it because it's so faint. But yeah.
Cool. Going on from that, I guess we can double team this because I know you watched it as well. CREEPSHOW episode 1 on Shudder. So the new TV series, I believe it's produced by Greg Nicotero. I don't know. It's one of those ones. It's an anthology show, so there's a whole bunch of creative cooks in that kitchen. First episode, there's 2 different parts. First part is starring Tobin Bell, Giancarlo Esposito, Adrienne Barbeau. So this is like horror royalty and Gus from Breaking Bad. And but yeah, I don't know. As a whole, I will say I liked it. I wasn't crazy about it, but I'm not gonna lie. I was hoping it would be a bit better, but I definitely didn't hate it. I'm certain I will watch every episode going forward, unless it gets like 2019 Twilight Zone bad, like because I couldn't handle that. But I think that it's the spirit of what CREEPSHOW is. The CREEPSHOW, like I also rewatched the movie recently, and that's what CREEPSHOW is. And it's just the stories aren't as interesting in 2019, and I think that I was expecting them to maybe modernize them a little bit better, maybe come up with something more creative, but at the same time they're just silly, campy fun. Like it kind of just feels like an adult Goosebumps. I know it's a cheap pull, but that's kind of what it felt like for me. I did enjoy the practical effects, especially in the first episode. I thought there was some really cool stuff at the end of it, the first segment. I really didn't like the second segment, but I know a lot of people did, which is cool. But I thought that the set was cool, but that's about it. And I don't know. I'm looking forward to watching it. I just hope this wasn't. I hope they didn't start with their best episode, but I definitely didn't hate it. But I'm not in love with it.
You seem very lukewarm about it.
I'm very lukewarm, but I'm not. I definitely didn't hate it. But because I know there's some people who really hate it, and then there's some people who think that it's just incredible. I'm like, can't go with you on either. You loved it.
I did. I loved it a lot, and I don't know entirely what you mean by modernizing it.
Well, the whole thing about I just feel like because the first segment is he's drinking so much that he's turning into a monster, and I feel like that's just pretty on the nose. I feel like we might be further from that by now. Like, I feel like you could come up with something a little better than that.
That's true, but then it does take it in a very interesting way, the rest of it, that strays from that. I get what you're saying, where it might be a little too on the nose, but I thought it was if you look at it as just a story, not like, oh, here's the inside meaning of it, the actual, just the little story that it tells, I think was super interesting, and it's definitely Creepshow. I don't think anyone else could pull off what they did in an anthology thing the way they did it right, other than them.
Yeah,
I don't know if that makes sense, but like it felt perfectly like Creepshow. I don't think it would fit anywhere else.
It does feel a lot like Creepshow, but it doesn't, like, so far neither of those segments feel like anything close to the worst segment in Creepshow, the first one. But like, I know that's holding it at a pretty high standard, which I shouldn't be, but I have faith that they're going to have some pretty awesome episodes. But how did you feel about getting your head bashed in by the Stephen King bat? Like, how it's like every third line is a Stephen King reference, and there's references everywhere. I was like, hey, we get it. I get it. It's Stephen King, Creepshow. We know.
I totally I'm totally down with all that.
You're down with all the yellow jacket.
Just fucking fan service the fuck out of me. I'm totally fine with that. I will say the second segment was the weaker of the two. Still very interesting to me, but I don't know if I entirely liked what... I liked the idea of what it was going for. I just don't like what the head ended up being and was to the story. I thought there was a very interesting idea with it's a head and a dollhouse, and I think it's a very interesting concept. But they had so many opportunities to do scarier things, because it involves this little girl, and there's having this big dollhouse and how it's supposed to acclimate her to life and all this stuff. And there is some very interesting stuff in there, and I kind of liked what they were doing. But yeah, it just, the payoff for me was, I was hoping for something maybe a little more supernatural. I hope that doesn't give away anything for anybody, but like it could have went to a more interesting supernatural element that it didn't, which I probably would have preferred, especially given the outcome of it.
Yeah.
But it still makes me super excited for... I'm
still going to watch episode 2.
I think Friday it comes out.
Yeah, I'll watch episode 2 as soon as it drops.
I know we always complain about how, like, things are just given to us all the time with like, if you're waiting for a new season of something, it just gets dumped. You watch it in 2 minutes. Or not 2 minutes. You watch it in 2 days, like how Mindhunter was.
Yeah.
Everyone was super excited for Mindhunter. It came out. Took most people 2 to 3 days or a week. And then they were done. And then it's like, now we sit on our fingers and wait for season 3. Whereas I kind of missed that whole syndicated thing where, like, I have to wait a week till the next one. I was talking to Bryson about this. Yeah. I'm looking forward to the next one. I'm happy that I don't have to. I'm happy that I don't get to just sit and binge it. Yeah, I guess is what I'm going for.
Yeah, it's nice that we're going to be able to spread it out in the Halloween season.
Yeah.
Yeah. How much more do you have left?
I have 2 things.
Okay, I'll do 2 more things too then, because I'm not going to lie, puck drop is in 20 minutes.
Right.
So I got to roll. I will say... I'll say
that was the most Canadian thing you've ever done.
I'm sorry, it's season opener, Canucks playing the Oilers. I'm going to my friend's house and watching it.
If the fucking Oilers win...
no, we're the 2 worst teams in the NHL.
No, you guys are going to be good this year.
Hopefully.
Vancouver's going to be way better this year. Sorry,
hopefully.
Hockey side note here, guys.
Yeah. Okay, I guess I'll go with... no, okay, if I'm only going to do 2 more, I'm going to shout out... should I do one that I've never talked about before? No, I'm going to use this time to plug a movie that I've already talked about on the show before, because I think people need to watch it more. Everybody has been saying that everyone has been talking about this movie lately because it's finally getting the love that it deserves. It's its 10th year anniversary, Jennifer's Body. There's not much more I can add to what everyone else has been saying about it, but...
Has it really been 10 years?
It has been 10 years, man. This movie was so way ahead of its time. Like, everyone in every single article that you can find about it has been saying...
It's like everybody just clued in all of a sudden.
I know, and it's sort of annoying, but I can't even get too mad because I remember the first time I saw it, I didn't fully get it. It gets better every time I watch it. I think it's incredibly clever, it's funny, and it's brutal. Everyone was cast perfectly. Megan Fox will never do better because she is that role. Like, she's
What
perfect.
What is she doing these days?
Actually, I listened to a podcast with her on it, and she's like doing like the Ancient Aliens type shows.
Oh God.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty funny.
I hope that she's banked some of that money she made from before. Holy fuck! Get that Transformers money while you can.
Yeah, I think she's still doing pretty well, which is sad. But I don't know. Every time I watch this movie, the more I like it. And honestly, I think I honestly think that this is in my top 10 of the last 10 years.
Really?
Like, actually. Like, I fucking love this movie. It's so good. It's so good. Once again, another movie that would be very suiting for this time of the year. So check it out this Halloween season. If it's been a while since you've seen Jennifer's Body, give it another shot. Or if you loved it, watch it again, because this movie's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
You go, and then I'll close it off. Or you got to.
Two more.
Go.
Okay, so me and Bryson are doing 31 Days of Horror for October together. So I picked a ton of really fucking obscure shit I'd never seen before, just to like go all out. And a lot of it was like the sequels to something I've never heard of or whatever. So I'd kind of heard about this movie, but this was my first time viewing any of it. I watched 976 Evil 2.
I didn't know there was a second one.
Most people probably don't.
Yeah.
I'm just going to be flat out honest. A lot of movies I picked you can just watch them on YouTube. And they've been up for... No, this is the thing. Nobody can get mad at me for this. Most of these that I picked are from the 90s or 80s, have been on YouTube for upwards of 5 years. So that means whoever owns said property does not give a fuck enough about it, because they don't change the audio at all. There's no clipping. There's no smaller screen. You can fucking watch the whole movie. So don't get mad at me if you want to talk about that whole like, well, you got to support the arts, blah, blah, blah. It's on fucking YouTube and no one's taking it down. So 976 Evil.
You got to support 976 Evil 2.
976 Evil 1 was directed by
Robert Englund.
Mr. Freddy Krueger, Robert Englund. They do make one reference to him in this movie. I want to see the first one because I have no fucking idea what happened in this one.
Why would you watch the second one when you haven't seen the first one?
Because this is in typical me fashion. I was like, let's just watch a bunch of bonkers shit.
It's like you still haven't seen Blue Crush 1.
I fucking own Blue Crush 1.
But you haven't seen it, have you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I thought you just saw Blue Crush 2.
No, I've seen both of them. Evil. I don't know how to explain this. Basically, a guy's in a jail cell and he jumps out of his body to haunt other people, but he also calls them on a phone line and gives them their horoscope if they want to. So he's very consenting. If you're like, no, I don't want my horoscope, he just leaves you alone. It makes no fucking sense. I wish I could explain this better. I'm excited for when Bryson watches it. Good fucking luck. I still don't know what happened entirely. But yeah, what do you got, Mitch?
Okay, so I'm going to go with Bloodline. So this is one that I'm going to recommend to you because it's definitely like up your alley, and other people out there might enjoy it. But this is a brand new 2019 movie that was released from Blumhouse, but it went it's one of those straight to streaming ones. It's starring Sean William Scott. Obvious comparisons could be made to Dexter, but this is a lot heavier on the brutality. So it's a high school guidance counselor, played by Sean William Scott, is actually a serial killer as well, and he's
Sean William Scott.
Yeah, Stifler. The Stiffmeister. And but yeah, so this movie is, for the most part, it's very well made. It's entertaining enough. It's not a movie that's going to knock your socks off or anything. If you're into serial killers and that kind of stuff, if you're not drained by it's very, very similar to Dexter in a lot of ways. There's some interesting elements to it. Really grotesque violence at times. Warning, do not start the film while eating dinner. I rarely ever get squeamish, but this one, like, especially to the point of having to look away. But this one, I actually was surprised enough to stand up. Like, I stood up, and while I had food in my mouth, I was like, what the fuck? Because it's so early on in the movie, and Courtney and I were like, why, how are they showing this early on in the movie? So I don't want to talk it up because it's just something that's really gross. Like, it's something very natural, but very gross.
Please don't tell me it's childbirth. It's fucking childbirth. I can't do childbirth. I can't do it. It's an interesting movie. I think the thing is, it completely gets deflated by the ending for me. For me, it fell apart at the end because it's one of those things where it's pretty realistic for the most part, and then it's just not believable at the end. I couldn't buy into it, and it sullied the experience for me. But as a whole, the movie was all right. It's worth a look. I think a lot of people are going to enjoy it more than I did, especially if you're into that. I'm into the serial killer stuff, obviously, but don't expect something as good as like the Clove Hitch Killer. But okay. Like, this is if you're looking for some kind of light but kind of fun, check out Bloodline. Maybe see some childbirth.
Maybe see some.
I like how right away I knew it was like, it's
because I said natural.
Yeah, natural. It's fucking disgusting.
Oh god.
Last piece of news, or last thing I have watched. Technically not a movie. Technically is, but I want to talk about it.
I'm finishing off with something that's not a movie as well. So
okay, I went and checked out Little Shop of Horrors
at
the Broadway Theater on Sunday.
Tara's production.
What did she?
She's doing the makeup on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was fucking awesome. It was such a good time.
How was Rick Moranis?
Everybody nailed it. Like everybody fucking nailed like the voices and the mannerism. It was a ton of fun. Like it was a ton of fun seeing it in like Broadway was sold out.
Yeah.
First time I've ever seen Broadway completely sold out, but like people were laughing at the right times, except for this one guy who just like had this belch of a chuckle, like something like minuscule that isn't really funny would happen, and everyone else would be like, kind of like snicker at it, and he'd be like, ho, 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 like he's fucking Santa Claus over here, and people laughed because he laughed. Yeah. Anyway, it was a really good time. Unfortunately, I didn't get to see Tara there, but
fucker.
You know. They actually did the original ending, which was also cool. I'd never seen everyone act that out, so that was really cool.
That's awesome.
Anyway, yeah, that's the last piece of news I have.
Cool. Last thing you saw.
Last thing I saw. Sorry.
Last thing I saw. Last Tuesday, I went and saw Ghost at the Stampede Choral in Calgary. So Courtney, Tara, Dallas, Brady, and Eric and myself drove down there. We met Darcy and Jen up there, and we went and saw what it has to be at this point my favorite band. Like one of them, at least. My house is disgustingly full of Ghost stuff. I have too much Ghost stuff at this point. It's been a bucket list band for me for a long time. The show was truthfully incredible. It was one of the best shows I've ever seen. They played nearly every single song I wanted to hear. There's a lot to say about the Nameless Ghouls as entertainers. Like for those of you who aren't familiar with Ghost, you have Cardinal Copia, the singer, who is a satanic cardinal, and then he has Nameless Ghouls, just people who are just wearing masks playing the instruments, and you don't know who they are underneath. It's honestly like a Broadway play watching the show. The set design is incredible. I was finding confetti in my pockets a week later. It was crazy. And it was just incredible. But watching, like, I'm normally not one of those people who can buy into like solo offs, like when two guitar players will start doing like, you play, now I'll play. But with Ghost, it was amazing because like they were fucking hilarious. Like they were doing so many funny things. Cardinal changed his clothing like 8 times. It was truly just a sight to be seen. I know Bryson saw him on Saturday. I highly recommend if you're ever in the vicinity. We drove 6 hours to see them, but if you're ever around the chance to see Ghost, you have to go see them. Be warned, Cardinal's very dirty. He makes lots of jack-off hand motions while he's playing.
He's a dirty boy?
He's constantly coming on the audience with his hand.
No.
Yeah. He introed the song Mummy Dust for like 5 minutes, describing how he wants to tickle every taint in the building. So that was pretty cool. I have one complaint. I have one complaint, but it goes to, and this is a massive complaint because this goes to show how fucking incredible the rest of the show was that I could forgive this. He lip synced a song. To me, there's nothing, nothing lamer. Yeah, but it's understandable why he did. Because the one song they lip synced was one that has very heavy effects on the vocals, and he's basically whispering the lyrics.
Okay.
So I get it, and it's one of their more popular songs, so he had to do it. For all I know, he could have not have been. He could have just fucking nailed it. But I was like, oh no, this is the CD. Like I know that I've studied.
Well, it
this
could have
band.
been a mixture of both. Like it could just be backing tracks.
Yeah, that's probably what it was. But for me, I was just like, man, that is fucking lame. But at the same time, if I can forgive that goes to show how good the rest of the show was, because that's an unforgivable for me. But yeah, they nailed fucking everything. Also, if you are a fan of their latest album, you know that they have one of the most ass-ripping saxophone solos on that album, and it is incredible. And they bring out this old-ass sax man who's dressed up as a pope, but he's like, he has to be carried because he's so old, and he's just got a saxophone, and he just starts ripping this crazy solo, and I got chills. I'm getting chills all over my body right now just thinking about it. It was unbelievable. I was having a lot of trouble keeping my composure, but it was fantastic. So, great way to start off the Halloween season. And a great way to kick off the 3rd year of the Terror Table. So with all that being said, we're going to head out of here. I'm going to go watch some hockey. And thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you for sending in messages, and thank you for being a part of this.
Yeah, we're hoping to get back to a semi-regular format soon. It's just right now it's fucking crazy for us.
Yeah.
But we will leave you at the end of this episode. We always do sound checks before we start. Yeah. And they're recorded.
We've been doing it for 3 years.
3 years. And we delete them and then go on and do the actual episode. This one, we're like, fuck it. Let's just throw it in at the end so people can see what we really do before the episode starts.
Yeah, like this one isn't even bad.
No,
like,
it's one of our fine ones, actually.
Yeah, this is actually probably our most politically correct one. But we're going to put our sound check in at the end of this just so you can hear how this is literally how we start every single episode. But
yeah, it's like a warm-up. You know what? And if you don't want to listen, have a good night, and we will see you next time on the Terror Table.
Yeah, see you guys next time. Let's make sure these mics are off.
Well, I already unplugged. Oh, no, I didn't unplug that one. That one's gone.
P on my penis.
Oh, right. It's this one. Hold on.
Penis. That one was me. Peen.
There we go.
Wieners. Have yourself some burgers and cum. Boogers and gum.